Hello guys, Assalamualaikum, good morning. Okay, so for today's video, I'll be speaking in English due to sharing this information to everyone in general. Okay, so hope people from Malaysia, harap korang sudi menonton walaupun saya berbahasa dalam bahasa Inggeris lah. Okay. The reason kenapa saya nak cakap dalam bahasa Inggeris for today, just to share with the world lah sebenarnya. Okay, sebab saya rasa yang video ni information, niat saya nak kongsikan kepada everyone that owns HSP Flying Fish. Okay, so for today's video is me sharing what I have encountered, what I have experienced on required upgrades, damages, and possibly future investments that you need to purchase for your car. Alright, so in front of me I have a HSP 94102 Flying Fish. It's a nitro on-road 110 scale. Alright, it comes with a Skyline R34 body shell, pre-painted. Okay, so without further ado, I'll get right into the car and show you guys what I have changed recently. Alright, this is the latest changes I've made to the car. Okay, as you can see, I'm lifting the body shell up right now. Okay, because I have swapped out from the original mounting post, the body post. I am now using a Velcro style body mount. Okay, so these are the Velcro strips I've taped on top of the magnetic body post. Okay, this is actually magnetic body post, suitable for RC drifting, but I have changed up the magnetic buttons that are screwed on here to Velcro strips. Okay, the reason why I changed to Velcro strips is because the magnet ones, I have issues with the magnet ones making the body shell stick onto the car. So I prefer to change Velcro strips. You can see a strip right here. Okay, so it's easily accessible and basically you can just attach and detach as you wish. Alright, so but keep in mind that there might be some slight adjustments as you are putting the body shell on the car. Okay, but I can demonstrate for you right now. I usually work it from the rear to the front. Okay, so align it from the rear like so, just eyeballing it, not to be too perfect. Okay, and just let it down like that. Okay, there might still need some micro adjustments for the body shell. As you can see, if it's aligned properly, okay, there should be no issues. Okay, so I have tested the body strips, I mean the Velcro strips on this car, and I have to say that it's working fine. There is some tendency for some body rolls like that, but it's very minimal, so it doesn't affect in any way as I was running the car. Okay, as if you want to detach the body shell, you can just lift it up like so. Alright, so this is one of the changes I've made for the body shell. Okay, the other reason why I changed to Velcro strips and not the original body mounts, because I'm bad at drilling. Okay, I have trouble aligning everything to be perfectly straight with the body post to mount the body shell, and I have a slight as people would say, an OCD when it comes to small details. Alright, so that's just my personal preference. It's up to you. Okay, this is what I find to be working for me. Alright, so for the upgrades that I've changed on this car, I'll start up from the front to the rear. Okay, so first change was the body mounts. Okay, the next would be my steering knuckles. If you can see right here, I have changed aluminium steering knuckles, front and rear. Okay, I've changed this up. Steering rack, aluminium steering rack, aluminum servo saver. Okay, the front shocks and front shock towers are still stock. They're still original. Okay, I did not change anything to that, but I do notice there is some potential wear when you screw these screw mounts to the shock tower itself. These plastic materials could be easily stripped, so I still recommend changing this to aluminum. The reason why I haven't changed it yet is because I have not experienced any damages yet, but eventually, as you're screwing the screw down, it will start to not lock in place, and you will keep just turning the screws as you proceed by tightening the screws in. So there's a potential strip right there which could cause your shocks to be removed as you're driving the car. So that's just a heads up for anyone that's experiencing that issue. You could upgrade the shock towers to the aluminum ones. I have right here also aluminum front mounts, aluminum A-arms, these are still front arms right here. As you can see, these are still the original plastic ones. I have already ordered and arrived the aluminum arms. These are both the same. It comes in 2 pieces per pack. Okay, so this is one set for front, one set for rear. They're both the same, front and rear. Okay, so I haven't changed it up yet, but I will do so soon, just to see the performance on how the car handles from the original plastic ones to the aluminum ones. Okay, alright, moving on. I have also recently changed a servo. If you have watched my previous videos, this is the new steering servo I got. This is a 12 kilogram digital servo by SPT. Okay, the model number is 4412LV. It's a low profile servo. It's at 12 kilograms and its operating speed is at 0.09 seconds at 6 volts. I'm using a humpback 6 volt battery for my receiver pack. Okay, and this, I have to say, compared to the original HSP servos, this has been great to me. I have experienced no issues at all with the servo. I highly recommend you check out my previous video on the review for unboxing this servo. Honestly, it has been very responsive, and I'm still using the same stock radio. I have not upgraded my radio yet. I'm still using the original HSP radio. Okay, there is a slight benefit if you upgrade to a higher, not to say a higher end radio, but an entry level radio, like say Sunwa MX4 and MX5. Those digital radios will work in pair with a digital servo even better. So you have a higher response rate between your radio and your servo for faster response times on your steering. Okay, moving on down. I have not changed the air filter. I have seen a couple of videos where people change this, but I find that it's somewhat not important for me yet, because I'm not driving in harsh conditions outside. It doesn't get really dirty that bad. As you can see, the original one comes with 2 pieces of foam filters. There's 2 in here. Okay, so as you can see, only the outer layer is dirty, the insides are still clean. Alright, so I have yet to upgrade the air filters. I'll leave it as stock for now. Okay, and I have also changed up my throttle servo. Okay, so this is a servo from GX Servo. If you can see right here, you can't see it, alright. It's a brand called GX Servo. This is a 25 kilogram servo. Sorry, didn't mean to note that. The rating speed for this is not that good, but the required torque for its operating purposes is very good, because you need the extra torque to pull on the brakes. As you're braking, you need that extra power from the torque on the servo to pull this rod to brake your car. So this operating speed is at 0.18 seconds at 6 volts. Okay, I have yet to do a review on this servo because I don't think that it's worth the time to review another servo just for throttle. Okay, so I just switched up the original HSP servos with this one instead. Okay, moving on to the engine. Okay, I have also installed a rotor starter. Okay, this is a rotor starter. As you can see, if I move the flywheel, you can see that rotating pin right there. Okay, so this is a rotor starter. I changed the rotor starter from the pull starter because I had trouble starting up the car, and also I find that I would not like to trouble myself pulling on the cord just to start up the car. So I prefer to have a rotor starter. But one of my viewers did give a good point. Having a pull starter, you can actually feel the compression on the engines, which is true. But I find that even so, I still went with the rotor starter because I hate pulling on the cord. Okay, I hate pulling on the pull starter. I just like to just start it up and get it running. Okay, that's just me. That's more of a personal preference. Alright, so I have not changed the tune pipe yet. This is a still stock tune pipe. Alright, I have not made any changes to the engine. I have just made some changes to the mounting position. And if you can see right here, I have this ball connector which is tied down with a grub screw just to mount it in place. There is also a grub screw that came with the tune pipe from the car itself. I just had an extra one just for safety precaution. Okay, and as you can see, if I tilt the car, I have also added disc brakes. These disc brakes are aluminum wheel hexes. The standard ones are plastic. This is a I believe it's a I can't remember the brand, but I switched it up. I'll look it up again and put it in the description below to share it with you guys. Okay, so the reason why I changed these brakes is just for aesthetic purposes to make it look good, but it's also aluminum compared to the plastic one. So I bought this one instead to replace with the plastic ones. Alright, so as we move towards the rear, I have not seen many cars that has a rear sway bar, an anti-sway bar. So I personally got one myself. Okay, this is not intended for 1/10 scale on road car. If I'm not mistaken, I have not yet find a suitable anti-sway bar for rear mount 1/10 scale platform. So I have ordered a 1/8 scale anti-sway bar, and I have somewhat modified to get it mounted at the rear. So far it has been working fine, and nothing great, but it did help with the rear traction for the car. Okay, but I did not put the one in front because the 1/8 scale sway bars, they come in two pieces. One is designed to have a arch like this, but the other one has a larger angle of arch. So fitting this in on a 1/10 scale, even though it's intended for a 1/8 scale, is quite a challenge because I had to actually drill and cut off this metal piece here just to shorten it out a bit, because if it was at its full length, it would actually rub on the wheels right here. So what I did was I took a sandpaper, I sand it down just so that I have some clearance to mount it. Okay, so right now I have a rear anti-sway bar. Hey, yay for me, you know, it's another upgrade for my car. And the internal parts for my drivetrain, I did actually modify the front differential. Okay, so HSP comes with front and rear differentials, but they are not meant for oil differentials, they are only applied with grease. So there are ways for you to have an oil-filled gear diffs. If you are willing to make the investment, you can actually install a HPI RS4 gear differential for your HSP car, but it's actually quite pricey, but it's worth having it due to tuning purposes. So I would eventually suggest and recommend you get a HPI RS4 gear differential and install it right in here, either the front or back, or get both of them. But what I did as a cheaper alternative is I actually modified the front differential with sticky putty. So I actually removed all the grease from the front differential and applied sticky putty on the spider differentials inside to let it have a stiffer diff action. If you can notice the difference right here, I'll show you. This is the rear. This is the standard HSP gear differential for the rear, which has no modifications that I did so far. I have done nothing to the rear gear differential. So this is the front ones. If you can see, if I can just roll it with my finger like this, and it's loose, okay? But the front ones, see, it's very, very tight. So what I did was, my intention was to make it like a spool, not a locked spool, because usually in electric touring cars, front differentials are locked diffs, somewhat called spools, okay? So what they intend to do is they lock the front wheels to give you maximum traction on power. But what I did was, with sticky putty, I have that little bit of lock diff action, but still a bit of room for the wheels to diff out in corners. So I have found that I still did get on power acceleration of corners, okay, as well as steering angles, sharper corners. So this is like best of both worlds, if I would say, in my opinion, okay? So on a touring car, usually you want a front lock diff and a loose rear end, but I went with somewhat in between, okay, in between. So I have recently drove this car, and I have to say that I'm really pleased with the performance that I have done, with the changes that I have done to this car, okay? So I hope that this video that I'm sharing with you guys would also point you to the right direction, or somewhat give you an insight on what to upgrade in the future for your car, okay? So actually, for me, I still have noticed that I still need some upgrades for the car to run as I intended to run perfectly. But other than that, it has been great. The car has been handling very good in corners and straights, okay? Another thing that I would share with you guys is that I have also tuned the camber of the alignment in front, the toe, and the ride height, okay? If you can see right here, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, if you can see it right there, let me here a bit. Okay, this is the steering arm. If you notice right here, right in between the arm and this aluminum plate, there is a grub screw in there. So what I did was, I actually made a droop screw for the front steering. So droop screw will intensively. So the reason for a droop screw is the amount of travel for your steering arm to be limited. You don't want a lot of movement for your steering arm front and back, up and down, because it will cause you to lose control of your car. So what I did was, I added a grub screw right in here, and what I did was I tuned both of them to give me the intended ride height and also the steering action that I needed from my steering arms. So that is another heads up for you guys. If you have not done this, I would suggest you try it out with a grub screw. Okay, the grub screw, if you can see, there's a hole right there, just right there. You see that hole there? Okay, that's where I place my grub screw. So you can put a grub screw in there and tune it as you wish. Okay, so I have already tuned this car for how to I like to drive the steering. Okay, so far it has been great. I have no issues at all. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys get some useful information. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more future videos, you can subscribe to my channel. I'm really sorry that I have been slow on the updates and not been very responsive on my channel. I've been very busy. Okay, hope you guys understand. But yes, I would definitely share more videos, more upgrades, or more insight thoughts regarding this platform. Okay, so hope you guys enjoy your weekend. All right, I've actually recorded this on a Sunday. Okay, yeah, take care guys, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.